Since ancient times, religious leaders have been pillars of human life for spirituality and society. However, due to the development of digital era, traditional learning has begun to erode and many new schools have begun to facilitate religious knowledge among the public. The digital age brings both benefits and challenges. With so much information available, people are exposed to various perspectives, sometimes leading to confusion and conflict. This has led to a rise in new religious leaders and sects, while traditional religious leaders seem to be losing influence. Social media platforms have become breeding grounds for religious debates and discussions. While these platforms can foster community, they can also lead to the fragmentation of religious beliefs. Online communities often echo chambers, reinforce existing biases, and can challenge the authority of traditional institutions. The rise of online influencers, often young and charismatic, has further eroded traditional religious authority. These digital gurus, with their engaging content and direct appeal, can attract a massive following bypassing traditional religious hierarchies. The future of Islamic authority is uncertain. While traditional scholars will continue to play a vital role, new forms of religious leadership may emerge in the digital age. It is crucial for Muslims to develop critical thinking skills and to rely on credible sources of Islamic knowledge. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated the shift towards digital religious practices. While virtual services have made religion more accessible, they have also challenged the traditional model of communal worship. The absence of physical congregation and the diminished role of religious leaders in these virtual spaces have raised questions about the future of religious institutions. The digital age has also given rise to religious extremism. Misinformation and disinformation spread rapidly online, radicalizing individuals and fueling religious conflicts. This has tarnished the reputation of religion and eroded trust in traditional religious leaders. To navigate this complex landscape, traditional religious leaders must adapt. They must embrace technology without compromising their core values. By leveraging digital platforms, they can connect with younger generations, address their concerns, and offer guidance in a language they understand. Ultimately, the future of religion lies in fostering interfaith dialogue and promoting religious tolerance. By understanding and respecting different perspectives, we can build bridges and create a more harmonious world. As we navigate the complexities of digital age, let us strive to preserve the essence of religions, love, compassion, and the pursuit of spiritual enlightenment. Now, I will give you my opinion about the erosion of traditional teachings in digital era. For me, this kind of situation is real, and I'm the one of the people who follow today's religious leaders because of how they talk and how they deliver the message. In Islam, we have teaching from religious leaders who were very influential on Muslims during colonial era. And what I mean is the Wali Songo, and they are so famous in teaching guidelines for today's religious leaders. However, the reality is that there are many religious leaders and ustad who misuse these teachings for their own interests. Which is why young people like me sometimes doubt the message conveyed because there are many new sects and they are not accordance with their origins, and also they use the religion for gaining money and not care about the Sharia or the law. Alright, now in Islam these days, it seems that the two typologies such as traditional Islam and the modernist Islam. First one is traditional Islam, which is directed at the rural communities, which in this case is represented by the NU community. The modernist Islam group, which is aimed at urban communities, represented by the Muhammadiyah community. That there are still stick to today and most dominating Muslim group in Indonesia. As a result, the NU group is always considered a left behind and rigid group, while the Muhammadiyah group is always considered a group that can anticipate current development. Alright, now we're gonna talk about the da'wah in the modern era. Islamic da'wah in the modern era has two challenges. The first is the scientific challenge of da'wah, which until now has not seen encouraging developments. Second problem or challenge of dakwah practice, dakwah science appears to be stagnant at the level of scientific development. The Islamic modern period is an era of Islamic revival because in the medieval period, Islam experienced setbacks in the fields of education, politics, trade, culture, and technology. So that is what makes Muslims said to be lagging behind when compared to civilization in the Western world. For a Muslim, this situation cannot be allowed to reside in our mind, let alone our heart. For this reason, we must move on from this crisis with at least three following solutions. First, we can build the established knowledge. For Muslims, we know Iqra, of course. It means read. Reading is the main requirement for gaining knowledge to understand and implement Islamic law. Correct and adequate knowledge is very needed. Second is we can build a strong faith, and the last is building a strong brotherhood. With such understanding is not appropriate human being arrogant towards another. The last is we can build a strong brotherhood. With such understanding, it is not appropriate a human being is arrogant towards another. One is weak and helpless before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One can only be strong when they bind themselves in one knot of brotherhood wrapped in faith of Allah. There are many ways to connect the heart of fellow believers. One way is to avoid prejudice, envy, revenge, and hatred towards Muslim brothers. I took one message from Imam al-Bukhari. He says, don't envy each other and turn your back on each other because of the enmity in your hearts, but be servants of Allah who are brothers. I mean, it's a beautiful message for us as a Muslim because Al-Quran says we have to hug each other, we have to respect our brothers, our Muslim brothers, and we have to help each other. So we as the younger generations, we need to start